What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Manier, and I am here to tell you about something that I've been calling the landscape photography camera of my dreams. Let me introduce you to the GFX 100S. I have to say that I absolutely love when Fujifilm gives me a project like this. I feel like I do my best work when I'm under a tight deadline. Let me start by saying this, as is with all of my reviews, this isn't going to be a typical camera review, right? I would much rather tell you my story with this camera over the past couple weeks than sit here and spoon feed you specs. Like, that would just be super boring to me. So let me tell you my story. So I actually had way more time to plan exactly what I wanted to do for this project. I got word that it was going to be coming way back in October, and knowing that the winters here are unpredictable, I knew I wanted to try to go somewhere where I was going to be able to really put it through its paces and create the images that I think would do the camera justice. I've had it for a couple weeks now, and even pre-trip, I was lucky enough that the sun broke through the constant permacloud that we've had, and I got some interesting shots even here in the snowy landscape of Michigan. That was really nice because I was able to get acclimated with the camera and really feel it out in, a landscape setting. Back to the fact that I did need to travel somewhere. I was really nervous about getting on a plane for the first time. It's been so long, and obviously with all the coronavirus stuff going on right now, I just was unsure. Thankfully, after talking to a few of my friends who have flown here and there, I felt reassured enough that I could book a ticket. Then it came down to deciding where I wanted to go. After thinking about it and looking and researching different COVID restrictions from state to state, I kind of settled on Arizona. Because, really, when it's wintertime and you want to go somewhere awesome to shoot, you pick the desert. It just makes sense. I cleared a 4-day trip with my wife and I got to planning. So I did something kind of unique for me. I vlogged the entirety of my 4-day trip to Arizona, so you can be right there with me, seeing how I'm scouting things, how I'm approaching different shots and locations. I'm gonna drop fully post-processed images in real time as we go throughout the vlog, so you can see what I'm shooting and what I'm coming up with from an output perspective. This camera is incredible, and I thought it would be awesome for you to be able to experience that. All right, so before we get into the video, I did want to say that I have a full blog post write-up. It's available at brianmanier.com/GFX100S. You can go there, check it out. I have a ton more images than I had time to share in the video. I talk a lot more in depth on my trip, and I also share more of the technical things that I really enjoy about this camera. I do want to touch on a few of those now, just really quickly. Number one, just the overall size and ergonomics of the camera made it a real standout for me. It fit in my camera bags right alongside my X series gear, which is just huge for me. I was a big fan of the GFX50S, and this feels like a really good combination of the 50S and the GFX100. It feels like really good in hand, has those beautiful ergonomics that the 50S had, but then a lot of the new modern stylings of the GFX100. Number two, battery, right? The MPW235 battery that the X-T4 takes, being able to share batteries between cameras. I'm never going to be a full-on GFX shooter, right? I love the size, just the speed and performance out of the X series, so I'm going to be shooting both side by side, and the fact that you can now share batteries between the two, it just makes it that much simpler and easy for me. The next thing has got to go to the Pasm Dial. I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about it at first until I figured out, oh my gosh, these custom settings can program everything. In Fujifilm land, we're used to custom stuff being limited to JPEGs, right? This can program drive mode, metering mode, whether the IBIS is on or off, whether, along with all of the JPEG settings. So for me, being able to program different custom settings based on different things that I'm shooting. I go way in depth in the blog sharing all the different custom mode settings that I had. I had just an aperture priority mode, a pixel shift mode, an astrophotography mode, and then also a bracketing mode in case I ever needed to bracket. As a photographer that shoots a variety of different things, it's really nice to have all of these features available to you at the flip of a switch without having to dig through a menu and turn things on or off manually every time you go to shoot something different. Lastly is the most obvious one. It's got to be the dynamic range and just the resolution off of this sensor. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and for a landscape photographer, the depth of color and tonality that you get off of this medium format sensor are really second to none. You pair that with the 100 megapixel resolution, and there's no other camera that is going to touch what this camera can do, especially in this price range. And that alone is the reason that I kind of named it the landscape photography camera of my dreams, right? Because it's a landscape photography camera that is insane, and I can actually afford it. All right, so that's enough about technical specs. I told you I wanted to be quick. I just want to get into this story. Let's head to Arizona. For day one, after landing in Phoenix and picking up my rental car, I drove to Watson Lake, which I mistakenly call Lake Watson over and over again. All right, so I'm currently en route to Prescott. I'm going to Lake Watson. And all the research that I did for this trip, I knew there were a few spots that I wanted to hit. I've never been to Lake Watson, but it looks incredible. I'm not sure if I'm gonna shoot the sunset there or not yet. I wanna scope it out and scout a little bit. It's just got completely clear blue skies. So we'll see. This is our view right now. Mountain, desert, heaven. I'm so excited. All right, so now we begin. I have successfully made it to Watson Lake, and it is amazing. The sun is going to set behind us, so it's going to kick all kinds of wonderful light onto those rocks. So the light is starting to get good. I also am hoping to stay around after the sun goes down and shoot some astro here. So for this trip I have 3 lenses. I have the 30 f3.5, I have the 23 f4, and then I have the 120. I'm definitely more partial to telephoto, especially for stuff like this. I love zooming in and compressing my compositions rather than shooting wide. I'll probably do a fair amount of both. Clear skies, which not great for my purposes, but I guess clear skies here is better than the 2.5 weeks of permacloud I experienced in Michigan before I left. I got a composition right now and I'm just waiting for the light to get perfect. So I really don't think that could have gone any better. This place is freaking incredible. I'm gonna stick around and see if I can shoot some astro here. My ticket says that it closes at 6, but I don't see anybody here to kick me out. So I'm gonna stay until somebody kicks me out. So I did end up shooting a little bit of astro at Watson Lake, but it was, it wasn't the darkest spot. You could see the light glow, which is actually kind of cool. But knowing that my Tuesday was going to be jam-packed from sunrise through sunset, I knew I wanted to get to Sedona, get in my hotel, and sleep as much as I could before the next day. It's about 4:45 in the morning. Could not sleep last night. I have no idea why. I was really tired, but I'm up early to try to catch sunrise on some red rocks before I head to White Pocket. Here we go. I did some research last night about where to go. I'm torn, so we'll see where I end up. Just a little night hiking. It's not creepy at all. So I'm currently just hunting for some compositions here, scrambling around on rocks. There's awesome cactuses everywhere. So,
you know, I'm shooting those a lot because we don't have those in Michigan, and they're beautiful. Ugh. I'm also trying not to slip and die and break this pre-production camera, because that would be really bad. They're literally just gorgeous compositions everywhere you look. So I have never seen something light up the way that these rocks just did right now. So I'm gonna start working my way back around and just kind of shooting as I go. This climb back should be a lot easier in the daytime. Okay, I'm gonna admit something. I love cactus green. I said it. I love the color green when it's on a cactus, and it is accented by red dirt and rocks. It's amazing. Yeah. This seems a little more treacherous than it did in the middle of the night. And now I can see the car, and I'm gonna eat a Pop-Tart, and then I'm going to start driving north.
So after shooting that awesome sunrise, I had a little bit of time, so I decided to take Highway 89A, which is kind of the long scenic route between Sedona and Flagstaff. And as it turned out, I saw the lake kind of creeping into the valley as I got closer and closer to Slide Rock State Park, which I had visited in a prior trip. And knowing there's some kind of cool smaller waterfalls there, it might be a decent stop.
The light was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. I had to pay $10 just to get in for, you know, whatever. I was here for maybe half hour, 45 minutes. But I think it was worth it in the end. So I'm about an hour from a meeting spot, and the clouds are sticking around. Looks like, I mean, if these stay, they're kind of wispy clouds, if they stay, I'll be very happy.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest with you. White Pocket was really a last-minute addition to this entire trip. You know, after seeing work from people like Ruben Wu over the years, he shot there tons of times, it has been on my list for so long now. It's just so unique. But actually getting out there isn't it exactly as easy as you would think it would be if you don't have access to a four-wheel drive vehicle with, you know, a little bit of ground clearance. It's just a pretty ridiculous road. So after deciding that it was against my best interests and largely my wallet to attempt going out to White Pocket in my rental car, I started researching tour companies that could get me out there safely. I ended up finding Dreamland Safari Tours, which is based out of Kanab, Utah. And keep this in mind, I was reaching out to them less than a week before I was asking to see if they had any openings. Thankfully, somehow they had an opening, and actually it was Sunny, which is one of the co-owners of the company, who's also a photographer herself, who was going to be the one to drive me out to White Pocket. Now, this is probably the biggest fail of the trip. I really do apologize. I didn't shoot a lot of footage from White Pocket. I didn't shoot a lot of the drive out there. Number one reason why I didn't is because it was really bumpy. I mean, the footage would have looked absolutely terrible. And then number two, me and Sunny ended up actually talking, just chit-chatting the whole drive out there just to get to know each other. And honestly, I would have felt pretty stupid to be like, excuse me, could you stop this interesting conversation we're having for a second so I can like grab some vlog footage? So I ended up videoing less here than any other point on the trip. So I apologize for that in advance, but you're just gonna have to enjoy the footage that I did get and then some of the awesome photos that I took along the way.
Okay, so this place, this place is insane. I've been walking around White Pocket, which you can see is all around me, for about 2 hours now, trying to scout where I'm gonna shoot my sunsets from. My guide, Sunny, is amazing. She's been walking me through kind of all the hot spots, all of the not so hot spots, showing me everything from a conservation standpoint, where we should walk, where we shouldn't walk. It's been awesome. And that is one of the reasons that I wanted to come, for my first time at least, on a guided tour. Dreamland Safari Tours has been incredible. I have no idea if the visuals that I'm showing you right now are doing this place any justice at all. The textures, the colors, nuts.
Now, once the sun had set, you could tell how cold it was going to get there. Dreamland actually does overnight trips, but they don't do them this time of year just because of how unpredictable the weather can be, which is totally understandable. So we hopped in the truck and we headed back to my rental car. We talked a lot more on the way, but it really started setting in at this point just how tired I was. And so I started thinking, driving back to the Grand Canyon tonight probably isn't the smartest idea. So along the way, Sunny rattled off just a laundry list of places around Kanab that I should come and visit and check out on future trips. So one of the spots that she told me about was actually on my way back toward Page, Arizona, just maybe 5 or 10 minutes from the spot where I parked to meet her, called the Toadstools. Now, she was telling me how awesome this place would be to shoot astro, and the whole time I'm thinking I would love to shoot astro there, but I'm also like falling asleep on myself. So I decided to improvise this part of the trip, right? As soon as I got service, I started looking for a cheap hotel in Page. I headed directly there so I could get some sleep, wake up the next morning, and get to a good sunrise spot just around the area. Changing this up actually made a lot more sense in the scheme of the trip, which was really nice.
I'm awake, not quite as early as yesterday. I only had a 5:30 alarm today. I am waiting for a gas station to open to get some Excedrin because my head is pounding.
So I found this lookout point called Waweep Lookout, and it was pretty close by. I thought it's probably best at this point just to keep it simple and do something close by because I had so much driving ahead of me. So I get up there, it's still completely dark, it's freezing, but I start shooting. I was there for maybe 20-25 minutes, and I start seeing this glow start on the horizon as blue hour was ending.
Decided to go a little easy this morning. Doesn't suck.
I saw these hazy clouds and I thought, oh my gosh, this could be like the best conditions I get on the entire trip, and I would be stupid to waste it here when I've already got the shot that I just showed you, a great shot. So Sunny, I heard the Toadstools, you gotta check out the Toadstools, knowing that it was about 20 minutes away. And then it was, I think it's roughly like a mile hike out to the actual spot. I knew I had to book it to get out there.
And right now, it is, I don't know, like 10 minutes before sunrise, and I'm trying to sprint out to this spot. I see it up ahead, but, am I gonna make it in time? That's the question. All right, I'm huffing and puffing, but I made it, and before the sunrise. So, I think I win. Now, figure out where I'm gonna shoot this from. So what is amazing to me right now is that I have this place entirely to myself. Completely blows my mind. Not a single car in the parking lot. I mean, it is 22 degrees, so I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm the only one dumb enough to be out here in the cold, but I'm here. And it looks like the sunrise is just now getting started, and it's gonna be incredible. So it's warmed up a smidge. I don't know. I took my gloves and hat off, and I still have a divot in my head from my headlamp, but I'm waiting currently on the sun to come up just over that ridge so I can try to get a sun star behind this giant toadstool monstrosity behind me. I love being out in places like this because it just is, I don't know, it's otherworldly. Like, how does this even exist? And exist such a short walk from the car. Like, I don't know, it was maybe a mile, if that. I made it out here. I mean, I was booking it, but I made it out here in like 15 minutes. Looks like the sun's getting ready to pop up. I have my composition set up down here. Got the 23 on, and I just want the sun to pop right there. Shoot at f32. So I get a nice sun star. Hopefully a sun star. I mean, there's the potential that it's a little too cloudy for the sun to really be concentrated enough for a sun star. But I'm hoping for the best because I feel like that would be the perfect way to end my time in this spot. So when I planned this trip, and for 5 days, 4-ish days, obviously I was trying to maximize the amount of cool spots that I'd hit with a decent, failure rate for terrible weather or whatever. So I didn't expect for things to like continually just get better and better as I go. I'm really hoping though that this sunrise this morning is a good indicator of what the sunset tonight is going to be like, because I'm going to the Grand Canyon and I love that place so much.
All right, so 4 hours later, here we are arriving back at the Grand Canyon.
All right, so I made it to the Grand Canyon, and now it's just a matter of driving up Hermit Road to check out all the vistas and see which one is going to be my winner for sunset. I swear this place is like walking into a postcard. It's insane. And you know what? I don't care how cliche that is, because this place is freaking awesome no matter how many times you've been here or how many times it gets photographed. It's amazing. All right, so it's getting close to go time, and I am just kind of packing my bag, trying to think. Pretty much every spot that I've been to so far, I have obviously used the GFX100S as my primary body, and I'm kind of switching between the 3 lenses that I have. Surprisingly, but not surprisingly, the 120 has kind of been my most used. But I mean, I say it's surprising because it's kind of an odd focal length, for me at least. But at the same time, it's telephoto, and I'm kind of addicted to telephoto. So I've been bouncing between that and the 23, which I like a lot more than I thought I would. Usually 18mm equivalent, full frame equivalent, is kind of a no man's land for me. I like 16 or I like 24. And I mean, I have used the 30 quite a bit as well. But I'd say of all the shots that I've taken, the 120 has been my go-to. But I'm just trying to decide now if I want to take any other lenses for my B cam, which is the XT4, which I've been using for all my vlog video stuff. I've also been switching back and forth between photo and video on that when I need to. But I also have the X100V that I've taken quite a few shots with. I've been using this camera to do a few product shots here and there of the GFX100S. And we should be good to run out. So I always think it's just absolutely wonderful that places like this just let you walk right up to the edge. If this was in Michigan, it would be roped off like 20 feet back. They don't mess around.
And now I'm gonna go sit in the car, and I'm probably gonna watch the Clone Wars because I have it downloaded on Disney Plus, and I'm gonna wait for it to get dark. So far so good, I think, in the astro shooting. And I'll tell you what though, walking up to the edge like this and just seeing darkness and not how far down it actually is pretty trippy. So it's Thursday morning, like 5, and it's my last sunrise, my last full day here. My flight out tomorrow is at 6. So I just wanted to share what inevitably every hotel room I get ends up looking like, just stuff sprawled about everywhere. But it's cold, so I'm about to get bundled up. Somehow it's gotten colder even though the sun is closer to coming up. I don't know how that works, but we're about an hour out now. I already see the glow on the horizon. So the sunrise was pretty awesome. There was clouds on the horizon, still clouds, it's pretty diffused light coming in here, so it wasn't like streaking bright rays lighting up the walls, but the colors popped, and I can't imagine a better way of spending my last morning here than sitting out on this ledge, freezing, watching a beautiful sunrise. I'm gonna start driving back towards Phoenix and hit the Superstition Mountains tonight for sunset, and then wake up ridiculously early to head to the airport. Yay. Alright, so I made it to Lost Dutchman State Park. I am about 2 hours before the sun sets on, boom, Superstition Mountains. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a colorful one. I'm hoping those mountains light up kind of like the Grand Canyon didn't this morning. This would help to validate the 4 hours I just spent in the car. Already, there's so much here. Gosh, I love the desert. Alright, so here we go. Golden hour starts now. I am looking for some cactuses to shoot to catch this last little bit of light. The sunset just does not want to quit. Thank you so much for tuning into this vlog. It means a ton if you made it this far. I hope that I really showed off what this camera can do. I also just want to say a huge thank you to Dreamland Safari Tours. If you were ever in the southern Utah region, Kanab, or even northern Arizona, look them up. They do tours all over and they do amazing stuff. They're so knowledgeable about the area, which is always super awesome for me. I love learning about the geology of a particular area, and they are really really helpful when it comes to that stuff. Worth its weight in gold, absolutely. So thank you, Dreamland Safari. And also, if you want to see more of my images, you can head over to brianmayer.com. I have a full blog post right up on the GFX100S where I share a lot of the images that you saw in the video, and then so many more. Drop in the comments and let me know what you thought. Really appreciate it. I'll see you later.